are starting off with some art fight attacks today. People have been requesting I use my voice, and you know what? We're gonna give it a try today, even though I'm nervous. Please, please, please keep me on track, and let's get started. I'm going to start off the day with the branches, mostly because I have everything that I'm planning on doing today already sketched out. I had another one before this recorded, but I decided midway through that I'm going to change courses and actually film with voice instead of just filming silently. Maybe someday I'll upload the other one. Probably not. I already deleted the speed paint. But you can see that it was a cute picture of a cat that I posted on ArtFight already. We need to go ahead and add in the gray background so that I don't mess up my colors. Haha, it's winning. So this character is Nazar, and it is by the incredibly talented Random Meme Pen. I did not pronounce that correctly, but their page on ArtFight, and at least if I can find another social media on their page, will be posted in the description, as has been the case with most of these ArtFight pictures. And it seems like they made a Monster Hunter Cowboy character. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty cool design. It's very goth, it's very alt. There are some interesting character elements to it, and I love it. And I get that they primarily seem to be a combat-focused character, but I saw that they may have a cute little dog that they might win if I alongside like a Scotty dog type character. And I love that, and you know what's better than just a Scotty dog on their own? It's a Scotty dog in a shopping cart. Your boy has messed up and forgotten that that cart is not selling. So I have to go ahead and add in the rest of this. So it's crossing over like this, and then there's that, and it's like that, and then it's almost this garter there. Not garter, I don't know what you call that, but it's definitely there. And you have the big old chunky belt that I'm going to do it. Now I can tell what I'm doing again. Oops, haha, messed up the sketch and had to go back in to add more. Which, it's fine, the sketch isn't going to be showing in the end. It doesn't matter if I kind of whip the sketch, as long as I can go back, tell what I'm doing, and add in more as needed. Remember, kids, the sketch is not the Bible, it is just the guideline. But yeah, for some reason, seeing this character's design very much so made me think of having the dog in a wire shopping cart right at the front, kind of looking off in a profile way. Which, yeah, I get that. The idea of a monster hunter just kind of pushing their companion around town, gathering supplies as they go. It's fun, it's campy, it's quirky. Beneath this, we want the first layer of hair. It's this really pretty wine red color. Yeah, just like that. Which, again, even honestly, the blocking is completely a guideline. We're gonna overpaint this entire thing as we go along. It'll be fine in the end. We just have to get through the start. Honestly, the hardest part of any piece is the beginning. Once you're in a rhythm, it's pretty easy to go through and do things. I never love to do pure black for things that are black, just like I never love to do pure white for things that are white. But this character is very much so meant to look like an old inked comic, so I am having to take that and kind of interpret it. And because it's specifically like a leather jacket kind of material for this crop top thing, I am gonna go ahead and use this nice navy blue. That's gonna be the same color that we'll also use for the skirt. And then, in the end, I'm gonna have to go back in and work it in the fishnet arm guards. Because they're not, well, I guess they are gloves, but it's only one fishnet. You don't see fishnet gloves, they're just different sizes. I don't know why I was thinking of them like arm guards. That's a weird way to interpret that. You're weird. Shut up. No, it's fine. I like this character. Honestly, I haven't done art fight in a few years. I am definitely really enjoying this year's art fight. I don't know what inspired me to do it this year. Maybe because I just got off the back of a bit of a longer, somewhat failed project previous few months, and I just wanted to change pace. But I'm vibing with art fight this year. I'm having fun. I'm planning on going on vacation next month. At the start of the month. It's a yearly thing. I do it consistently with my family. And so I probably won't be making any content for the first few weeks of August. So I should take advantage of having art fight around and just pre-record a few videos to go up during that 2-week period where I'm away. I feel like this is a character. For irises and teeth, I typically go with one of two types of whites for the sclera and the teeth. And I either use this creamish yellow or I swing into blue. I feel like this is a blue, not a blue character. I feel like this is a yellow character. We're going to use purple for the face, darker parts, including the eyes, and it's going to be the darkest part of this entire thing. I know that it's not included in the character, and they're using more fanboy makeup, but I feel like I would derive a lot of joy, and the character's creator would probably derive a lot of joy if I did some extra fancy eyeliner on the face in a way very much reminiscent of older goth types. Let's go ahead and push. It's not canon to their design, but I feel like it's something that the character's creator would approve of and would enjoy. I also know that they don't have really any sort of hair tie holding up this hair that's visible. But because this isn't a full body and I can't work in this box, I kind of want to work in that nice lime-ish green. It's really pretty desaturated kind of lime green. I'm trying to fish around to get a somewhat reminiscent color here. I feel like they'd appreciate including a few scrunchies in that color to just preserve that element of the design. He is looking good. Okay, now we've got to go for the shopping cart. Here's what I'm gonna do. This is gonna go under here, and we're gonna actually go ahead and erase parts of the skin that are over it. Rather than have the skin sit underneath this, because we're gonna need to have the shopping cart under the skin, but over clothes, just because of where this is sitting. Now we go into... Actually, you know what? This is gonna be a bit of a weird choice for metal. Normally, I'd use either a yellowish gray or a bluish gray for metal, but because I want to get that green into the design, I'm gonna do a greenish steel instead of a bluish steel for the shopping cart. And I feel like that'll also end up giving it a more grungy feel to it, like it's patina almost. I'm not gonna fully draw in the shopping cart. What I am gonna do is do a bit of cross-hatching to indicate that there is depth to it. Next layer up, we're gonna do the bubber-doo. We're gonna use a magenta for it. This should actually be above the skin layer. Got the bump on the nose. You have your arm hanging over the side, which ends in this. You go here, connect to haunch. That underneath, that goes over. arch the tail. We're gonna go ahead and add in the brown spots right off the bat so that I can find where everything is. Which it's tufts right here along the bottom of the belly. It's on the bottom side of the... Okay, think with your brain. Don't do it like that. It's on the underside of the muzzle. It's on the inner ear. Going up to the tip. Then it's one of those gaudy stuff with specific eyebrows. And it's the tips of the paws. They're up. Back to the side brush. Add in nose. Next layer up. We're going to go back to the Polish color for the eyes, which we're just going to do bean eyes. Bean eyes are the solution here. Okay, we're past the blocking stage. It's time to go in and get this done. So our main light source are going to be these bright fluorescent bulbs coming down from above. I don't fully know what that looks like. So I am going to look for red lights. Okay, alright. So it looks like the top is going to be super overexposed. And then there are going to be pretty harsh shadows on the interior of the body, like where it comes in. Underside like that. Neck is going to be one of our darkest locations, so I'm going to just fully shade that. Saturated. Armpits, like that. The inner arms are going to be one of the more saturated places, as well as almost going to arc on the arm. It's weird. And then it seems like whoosh. Because we're gonna have almost... Maybe we have a display of, like, vegetable off to the side here, one of those stations with misters. that case, we'd want to go around and look less hollow. It feels weird doing this kind of desaturated lighting, but this is what is going to happen in this scenario. Go whoosh, 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 in, and then all do some actual hashing there. We're also going to do hashing here. I'm going to take this as an opportunity to outline my fingers. This can get changed a bit here. He is looking mighty good. I forgot to do eyebrows. I'll do the eyebrows towards the end. You know what? We need the second ear showing. It's finally happening. We're in a position for second ear. Doesn't have to be intensely visible, but we'll just draw it in. Very, very light detail work. Not that bright. Use the desaturated color in order to make the edges. It's time to remove that, because we're heavily reliant on the sketch at this point. Okay, I'm liking how this is going. We'll add some more hashing in this color on the tummy. You know what? Because it's the midway between these, it can even cross over that section there. So the joy of the way that I draw on my phone, is that not everything rendering is complicated in the same way it would be on the computer. And at first, when I had to kind of move over from, oh, I'm drawing on a digital sketch pad and I have all these nice stuff, to, oh, I'm working on the phone, it's just easier on my and I was super bummed out because I couldn't get as in detail with rendering as I previously liked to. But the way that I've adapted to that is literally making lines, making the more rough parts of it part of the style. I've come to really enjoy not just having fully, oh, I'm gonna make every edge soft, but I'm incorporating the actual feeling of how my brush is in the process. And it's something you see a lot more in physical mediums, where you see the parts of the process left over in the piece, and that adds the charm of it. And I genuinely have been really focused on making sure you can see that my art is something that was drawn, is something that was made. I want traces of the work I've done left all over this thing, because I think it's an interesting visual detail, honestly. There comes a point where polishing something more and more and going into a more and more refined and clean looking style, in my opinion, isn't always the answer. There's nothing wrong with more polished, more clean looking styles. Don't get me wrong, I really love them. I'm a huge fan of, like, semi-realism in particular. I'm gonna redo this. I hate the lighting on this. I hate the shape of this arm. But, like, even this, for example, I'm gonna go ahead and use the flesh color around different joints, add in action lines, and it's not something that exists in real life. It's very much so a thing for cartoons that mainly exists in an unreal space. But if I wanted something to look entirely real, why wouldn't I commit to photography as a bit? Photography is another type of art that's great. There's a lot of value in being able to create something one for one. I have become, in recent years, very much so, a feeling over literal meaning kind of person. Sending me this harsh top light. Just so feel not to have anything there. This is an instance where a softer edge would work if I didn't totally whip that. So we do want this softer edge here, and then we'll do substantially better. Substantially better. So I'm gonna take this purple from the eyes and go ahead and add it into parts of here as our next darkest color. Building it up over time. It's the same process you would use if you were rendering something more realistically and using more realistic proportions, not fully bending the laws of space-time in order to make things work, just as focusing on feeling over meaning. Which, the first time I heard the phrase feeling over meaning, was in one of my language classes in high school, where honestly, those were my favorite classes in high school. I really was into language learning in my teens and early 20s, and at some point I'd like to learn more languages. I'd like to speak at least 5 languages before I die. But my Japanese teacher, because I was taking Japanese, Latin, and Spanish for a period, don't ask me to speak Spanish. I do not speak Spanish. But I speak a really good amount of Japanese because it's something I kept up with, and I ended up taking not just all the college courses available at my college, but all the ones available in my actual state. It became kind of an obsessive hobby, almost. I keep on taking Japanese courses, and the only reason why I don't have a minor in Japanese is because my university stopped offering it the year I entered. It used to be a minor. It's part of why I chose the college I chose, but then they just removed it, and that did. But the thing that my Japanese teacher in high school would have us do was translate movies for our assignments. And we had to focus on whether we capture the meaning more or the feeling more. And at first I was like, oh, I should focus that. I also took a class in English in high school. I forgot about that. Yeah, like, well, that was fun. That was a good time. I enjoyed that. And a lot of the movies we ended up having to translate for our assignments for Japanese class were Studio Ghibli films. And I think it's not my favorite Studio Ghibli film, but the one that stood out to me the most at the time was definitely Whispers of the Heart. Whispers of the Heart sits in my heart because going along with the film, a large part of the journey was just literally focused on these kids translating Country Roads. And yes, Country Roads, Take Me Home, To a Place Where I Belong, that song, yes. Ooh. And I found the entire process in that film very relatable. It was a nice backdrop to have that. I think that's partially probably why we were assigned Whispers of the Heart specifically, but we were also just assigned all of Ghibli films in general. And it wasn't like there weren't dubs out at the time of these. No, there were dubs. The first things we had to translate, though, generally weren't Ghibli films. It was Doraemon. So imagine a class of like 5, 10, 13-year-olds all translating Doraemon on their own. That's a lie. It was more like 2, 3 kids. I went to tiny-ass high school. I was severely mentally ill and needed help that I could not get from the public school system, so they outplaced me. Which, PSA to parents, there is a way in most districts in the United States, I believe, to get your child an outplacement if they do have specific disabilities, depending on the severity of it. Just, if you try to do this, be sure to look into the school you'll be placing your kid in, because not all of them are excellent. I really lucked out with my experience, but I have met people who run in the same circles as me, who have been absolutely traumatized for life from those sorts of take care of disabled teen schools. Highlights on the belly, put it on the shoulders, really feeling it. I go back in with these dark colors and the fish. little bit. It should be harsh, it should be overexposed, but it is really overexposed. It's fine, I go in and do this sort of thing anyways. Every single time I shade, works out in our favor. Okay, man's gonna use some color in his face. I'm just gonna go in and add in the slight pink to parts because at the moment we are looking very, very much so pasty, and we need those undertones working. Because this isn't lighting, it's just undertones. We should be able to add it in as we please, and we just go over it again with that neutral color. Well, that's light, this poor guy. Okay, yeah, that's so much less pasty already. Define that nose a bit more. Yoink. Yoink. There we go. Sort of finished lips are working absolute magic here. Yeah, unlike most other painting methods, I'd say, I actually focus way more on line work than I really should. When I first started doing digital painting, I got the advice that I relied too heavily on lines. So I leaned really, really far away from it for a long time. And then I started leaning back into it for some reason. I have no clue why. And I haven't stopped since. And I think that's why a lot of the times people say my art style looks unique, because it's really the same techniques that a lot of other painters use. I'm using all of the same basic fundamentals here. It's not that different. I'm just also choosing to go in and do like hatching and outline my shit as I go along afterwards. And you can't fully feel the weight of the lines at a first glance. But if I were to smooth it out, if I were to just render it instead of having this focus on line work in my paintings, it, in my opinion, would look a lot more better. I am getting a lot of value out of using hatching. And I could also, theoretically, if I wanted to, and this is a thing I've been meaning to start experimenting with, start using stippling as well. I think stippling would be a really good addition to some of these pieces. Like, especially around the darkest parts. Look at that. Maybe this is the piece I'll start to play around with that idea. Maybe feel I feel like we can confidently say this is a good place to leave off that skin and move on to the next bit. Which, I'm not gonna lie, I'd like to find what layer I had those apps on. There we go. This is gonna be a taboo. We're committing a taboo here, and I'm using a dark brown to start shading these parts. We're just gonna move up into lighter browns over time because I feel like how it works for us. I appreciate the people who have grungier kind of characters, though. Like, don't get me wrong, I very much so am a high fantasy kind of girly. I love a good person in armor, I love a good theme in a frilly dress, but there's something about this sort of unhinged mania of a grunge style character. Because everything was flat at the time. We don't actually talk about it right now. Like, someone who's gonna chase you down on the street, yell at you and beat you up with a baseball bat is 100% a vibe of character I like. It's not the sort of character I usually design. I think the closest I get to that is either Aurora or Carol in terms of my OCD. We're gonna go heavy on the spidery lashes for this. But it is a very good vibe. It has a certain energy that I just honestly really love. I mean, I guess the Project Zomboid characters I play as, that I've drawn pictures of, and the ones for my siblings, those are kind of modern, grungier characters. A lot of the inspirations for my own art style, though, are for more like... It's from more grungy, more... hard times, deep, dark themes than you'd expect. A lot of the artists I take direct inspiration of from were people who were doing a large bulk of their work during, like, World War II, in active war zones. I know he's a terrible person, but honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Picasso and the Cubist movement in general, but especially Picasso, is one of the reasons why I've taken the direction I have with my art. I noticed something wrong with that nose and I need to fix it immediately. Immediate fix. Yes. Good. Better. You can improve further with just a few lines there. Cubism, where you're looking at every perspective all at once. And I've had the talk with my friends before because they all think it's very, very deeply unhinged how much I like Cubism. Cubism is honestly one of my favorite art styles in my life. I don't get it. But here's the thing about Cubism. It's the sort of art that once you see what it's doing, and you know the technical bits and bobbles of how it's doing what it's doing, at least for me, I started to appreciate it a lot more, and it went from I don't get it back when I was a kid to Cubism is hands down one of my favorite styles. So I guess I like drawing characters like this that have more grit and grime because it reminds me of the sorts of people and the sorts of works that I really enjoy engaging with. I've been using the wrong hairbrush this entire time. God, I'm so tired. I just painted an entire piece with the wrong hairbrush. Growing up, one of the things my family would all do together, because we used to drive a lot, child of divorce, haha, but that meant spending a lot of time going between houses, and by my mid-teens, my dad kind of wanted to move out of the state I had spent a lot of my childhood in, but he couldn't do it technically, the divorce. So then my weekends were spent going to the place where he actually lived instead of the one who just lived out on paper. And that meant I was driving like a few dozen hours growing up. I don't like being in the car much anymore as an adult for very, very obvious, very sane reasons. But as a family, we all had to listen to novels together, and I think my dad thought we liked them. But I also think he liked them, but my dad loved to listen to teen dystopias in the car. Now, I enjoyed the first one, don't get me wrong. Hunger Games was great. I read it on my own. When you listen to your 15th teen dystopia, you start to really hate teen dystopias. It's like how I can't really eat I can't eat bananas because I'm allergic to bananas. I probably stopped liking the bananas and started resisting eating them because I realized my mouth was swelling up and I was getting sick every time I was eating them, but I didn't know how to articulate that because I was like, oh, I'm allergic to milk. And anyone who's had a milk allergy knows it behaves differently than other types of allergies, where it can cause internal bleeding, except just external bleeding, not external bleeding, sometimes. That's part of why milk allergies are so horrible, terrible. But because I've listened to so many teen dystopias against my will, I do actually like the aesthetics of kind of grunge and grime when I see them in character designs. I think they're really cool, they're really pretty, there's some really amazing things. The blade's coming down directly from on top, so you have to add in some really sharp highlights. Yeah, I was using that kind of yellowish color for that. God bless us all. You know what, we're not even gonna keep it on the same layer. We're gonna do it in this bright ass color. I'm gonna reduce the opacity until it's what I feel is okay. It's so bright and there's not much. Reduce the opacity, it looks better. God bless clipping layers. Clipping layers are actual lifesavers. If I had to do this without a clipping layer, I would go screm. I will be so angry. Okay. Back of the hair time. So here's what we're gonna do. You know what? I'm gonna fully redo this back of the hair. I do not give a shit. We actively need to improve where we're at. Comes to that layout. I feel like doing the darks first on this redo will cause me a lot less stress. Get really gestural with this. I'll convey the movement a lot better. Sometimes, kids, remember, it's okay to scrap what you're doing and redo a part of your work if you don't like it. Not everything's done in one go. A large part of painting is at least digital painting. A large part of digital painting is going back and changing something when you realize, I don't like that, I don't love it. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then there. That. Oh yeah, this is already so much better. That's fine. Cool. Here we go. Alright. Go back in dark colors, smaller brush size. go. We're almost done. Wow, my brain went entirely blank for a moment. I think it was because I'm suddenly just paying attention and just zoned out on it. That's kind of the joy of it. It's very, very easy to lose hours and hours and hours of time. Up until very, very recently, though, because I listened to so many teen dystopias, I stopped liking the genre entirely, and it's a crying shame because I recently got back into apocalypse stories and dystopias, and turns out adult ones good. Adult dystopia is pretty great. Just didn't like teen ones and thought they were edgy because they were, and a lot of the adult ones I read as a teen had political messages that I fundamentally either disagreed with or misinterpreted. Which, it's a shocker that took me this long to get back onto apocalyptic and dystopian media, because I love sci-fi. Sci-fi is like one of my favorite genres. I especially love like cyberpunk, steampunk type stories where you're fighting against a corporate entity. I love Star Trek. Always have loved Star Trek. Star Trek, pretty great. Up until recently, I was a Picard enjoyer. In the past few years, though, I have slowly transitioned from being a Picard enjoyer to being a Captain Kirk enjoyer. And I feel as though that's a sign of growth on my part. I don't have much else to say other than that. With that said, Lieutenant Data, best character. Fucking love Lieutenant Data. Lieutenant Data is relatable as can be. I love him. I too am still learning how to be alive. It's pretty great. I didn't have Alpha Lock on. That was a mistake. Okay, we are over halfway done with the actual shading at this point. I went absolutely balls to balls on that hair. Gotta keep going. Got to keep going. I only have... So I tried to get myself, for this art play, a time max limit of an hour and 30 minutes per piece. I'm gonna try to stick to that with this. I bet I can. I think it's highly probable that I can, but I just have to be conscious of the time as I go along through the rest of this, which is fine. Things like the clothing don't need as much attention paid to the details, but that Scotty dog is going to be pushing against the limit. My opinion opinion, like 90% of your time on a piece should be spent on the face. It's where people are going to be paying attention. Yeah. Just go ahead and do this. Push. More. That's okay. That. Follow the same skirt. That is magic. You don't need to be super complicated with this. Just grab this piece. We're gonna have the shopping cart and the dog left. It's doable, it's possible, I believe in us. Go team. Go team femboy. Shopping cart is the next thing, okay. I can do this. I just need to keep it simple, stupid. That's what we're gonna do in order to achieve that. I'm just gonna use 2 colors max on this. Then for the lights, which is grab the skin tone, we're going to go around. Okay. Boom. It's not perfect, but it 100% communicates the idea of shopping cart, which is the goal. It does not have to be back to the hairbrush. God, I fucking love the hairbrush. I do not love the hairbrush. Do not quote me on that. Not spend as long as I spent with that cat on this dog. Just need a boom, 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 and done. Just knowing what the fuck you're doing at any given point. When you want to flow, I want you to make this as fast as possible. Feeling over meaning, feeling over meaning. The enemy of done is good, the enemy of done is perfect, and done is the goal. We've already accomplished a lot in this piece. This just has to be passable. Dog does not have to be perfect. your big old mustache, you know? Super, super Joshful. Skies have that kind of roughish patch for at the top of my nose. I cannot get this in detail on this. We just need a whoosh, 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 whoosh. No thinking, no explaining, just gotta go. I could pine over the sub all day. That would not be getting more fight attacks done, and I already did the main part of this. I did the part of this that is important. Side brush, grab the skin tone. Low opacity. There, you now belong in the setting. Nose can be quick and easy. And I really need a slightly different opacity to go for that. And then the nose. How much time do I have left before I hit the limit? I have 20 minutes left, which should be enough to get the background done. If I'm smart about finishing this, which I can be, I bet I can be smart. Okay, I have 20 minutes for the background and the post-processing, which is fine because the background's not going to be complicated. Linoleum tile. Shelf. Shelf. this can just be super sketchy and it'll be fine. So this one's gonna be a freezer and this one's gonna be an actual shelf. Basic shape of them both should be the same. Some squigglies around here to indicate that it's skewing off the base. Brighter color for the shelving to show that this is refrigerated, that there's light coming from it. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be in perspective, just has to convey the idea. We'll do some tubs of ice cream in here. We're going to convey that by just doing actual lines for this. Then on the bottom we'll do some like bags maybe? Boom, boom, boom. Sack-like object. Finally boxes. Go back over it in this lighter color. And that's all I really need for this, but I'm going to go back over it again. That'll show off that there's a door. It's a closed freezer, and I can go into a desaturated kind of red. Right. Yep, perfect. But it should be... yeah. That's better. Each letter getting progressively bigger. Then we can use that same red to draw a bunch of soup cans, which soup cans do not have to be super detailed. We just need to indicate that there's something on each of these shelves. Grab white for the labels. Floor color at least. Then we'll use the floor color again here and just drawing some flat squares. I'll do them in a few more colors too. Should not bad. That is way too saturated for this shelf. Show that there's like boxes of pasta down here. And I think a lot of the pasta I buy comes in blue boxes, so the blue box pasta is a must-have on this shelf. Then you know what? I've been playing some Zomboid, you know, I think some orange soda would be good on this top shelf. We just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Nobody's gonna know, they're gonna know. Nobody's gonna know, they're gonna know. Who's gonna know? They're gonna know. Nobody's gonna know. have the red, bring it here. Perspective, no. Does it need to be? No, it's in the background. Would it benefit it to be in perspective? Yes. Do I care enough to do that right now? Absolutely not. I just want to get this done to the point where I can do the post-processing, because I'm very scared that I'm not going to be able to do that with the time limit I set for myself on this. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go in, we're going to move all hue shift. Slowly turn down that blue. It all looks like it kind of belongs together. And for that, we're going to do color dodge. This bright kind of neon fluorescent. Not neon, this bright fluorescent light. We're also going to do it bronze, but off to the sun. Okay, we're almost done. Go team. God bless the color dodge tool. Everything is overexposed, but it's as it should be. We're on track to finish this piece in time. I mean, it's probably not actually that much of a shock to you all that I like these sorts of grungy designs, given that I do VHS effects. Yeah, you just straight up noticed that the background was the 5-minute deal. Gotta put it on the hair so that it can't be cropped out. Okay, I'm gonna switch to the standby screen for a second. Finish that with 6 minutes to spare. I need to upload this. My Discord server so that I can use it. I am actually going to end this one off here, and I'll do the others in another thing. I'll see y'all later.